Okay, thank you, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Is that moving for you all? I don't think it did. Let me see. Okay. This is the agenda that I'll follow. Just giving you a quick update on some of the things that have been going on and some questions that we've had from the community. I do want to reiterate the mayor's comments on Women's History Month. I do want to wish everyone a very happy Women's History Month. And please take advantage of some of the things going on where we're celebrating women's history and some of the accomplishments, the many accomplishments made by women throughout history. Okay, residential satisfaction survey. It's not moving. Let's see.
It moved.
Oh, did it? Okay, good. Okay, so the good news is we have concluded the residential satisfaction survey. Laura got the results in today, her and the communications team. Quite a bit of work to go through and to analyze, so they're going to be doing that. Laura, if you're online, do you have anything to add?
I am here. Hi, everybody. Yeah, so initial results are very good in terms of the response rate. So we'll be working with Probosky research company on going through those results, and the council can expect to see us on an upcoming agenda in April. So we're excited to share the results with everyone. Thank you.
And this information is going to be helpful to us as we delve back into getting our strategic plan updated. We pull information from this and many other sources to try to determine what the highest priorities of the city need to be. Jeff, I'm not sure if you're on, but we did want to add this slide because we have gotten probably 4 or 5 different emails with people asking about reports of a medical clinic that's coming to the area. So, Jeff, are you on?
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Yeah, now.
So, good evening, Mayor, Council, community members. We want to acknowledge first and foremost that we are in receipt of a lot of the inquiries regarding the development project of the property located in the Clearwood subdivision in Ward 5. What I want to make sure everyone is clear on is that application has not been submitted to the city. Typically, a development application gets submitted to the county first and foremost. County goes through its development review process, which starts with a pre-acceptance phase, where planners are reviewing the application set itself for completeness, accuracy. All the information that's been submitted is up to date and consistent with what they have on file. Once that's reviewed and completed, that application will be formally accepted. Upon development review, I'll receive an e-referral, which has a complete application set. But as far as information, we don't want to jump the gun and provide too much information as to exactly what this development project includes. We're waiting for this application to be fully accepted and formally accepted by the county. And once that's confirmed, we anticipate that'll actually happen sometime mid-summer. But again, once that's confirmed, we'll provide comment to the public and essentially provide the public an opportunity to provide input. I want to mention that the applicant's representative has confirmed that they will provide a presentation to the council in any public forum of our choice. So we just ask for a little bit of patience as we wait and obtain additional information regarding this project. But we do understand the concerns, and once that's received, we'll be before the public to provide input.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay. Next, I just want to say real quickly that we've got a lot going on in emergency operations. Narcan training is now every month, and we're doing it in both Spanish and English. So thanks to our ops officer, Reggie Bagley, for handling that. Also, CERT team members, we're up to 25 members who completed the basic training. They plan to present to you all at the second meeting in March, the next meeting actually. And we also had English and Spanish CPR. This is new. So we had both English and Spanish. The good news is our HR director, Jay Joyner, as you know, is a nurse and also certified to teach CPR. So you can see him way back in there in the blue scrubs, and he taught the English class. And then we had a Spanish speaker at the same night teaching the Spanish class in the Prangley room. So a huge turnout for both classes. So pretty excited that the community is responding to these classes. Reggie, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk the parking garage because we just took a tour of the garage to get an update. I'll let you give an overview of what's happening there.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam City Administrator. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. If you look at the bullet points, I'll pretty much follow those as outlined. We're glad to say that the construction phase has been completed. We did do a walkthrough last week, and we were able to visit with the developers and talk through how it's completed, as well as what we'd like to have on there. There are 152 paid spaces there. The pay options will be both hourly and monthly. They're going to be at tiered rates with special rates available to area workers. As you recall, there was some concern raised by some of our area retailers that their staff does not have accurate parking nearby. So we're pleased to be able to offer some spaces in the parking garage for folks who work in the area. We're excited about moving forward to the next phase, which will include signage, some painting, traffic control devices, and I'm glad that our comms department is working with Laz, who is our contractor, our operations contractor. They're working on the signage plan and some potential public art for some of the murals. There's a lot of empty wall space there, and we're looking to be able to put some public art in the garage to kind of give it some Hyattsville flavor and Hyattsville character. So stay tuned for some of the things that come out of that. SHA approval is pending for the Route 1 traffic management plan. I know that there have been some questions there, and some of those questions remain as far as the egress from the garage as well as the entrance into the garage and how that's going to abut to the Route 1 traffic. If there are questions about that tonight, I may be able to answer some council questions if there are specific. And Leslie Riddle, our Public Works Director, has agreed to kind of be online to help answer some questions that I may not be able to answer yet. Looking forward to what's coming soon. Bike racks, EV charging stations. We have some city-owned bike racks that we currently have that we're looking to reuse and repurpose. And we received a vendor proposal that we are reviewing for 6 EV charging stations there in the garage. Lastly, the planning opening date right now is June. 4 businesses have confirmed, and there are some others pending. But it's helpful to know that there's about 10,000 square feet of retail space still available. And they're also pleased to say that their first 3 occupants are now comfortably in their apartments. So we have at least 3 new families as Hyattsville residents, and we're looking forward to filling that building up. So happy to take any questions that you may have, or if the city administrator prefers that we take questions at the end, I'll be happy to do that as well.
All right, I'll keep moving through if that's okay, Mayor.
That's it.
Okay. DPW just showing some of the work that they're doing around the city. We've got some new replacement EV chargers over in Lot 4 over on Farragut. Ager Road, we are finally getting that electric sign hookup complete. We've got the permits approved, and so electrical's been installed. So we expect to see a sign there in the very near future. And also some upgrades to 42nd and Oliver. Many of you recall the PGCPS bus accident. No injuries reported, but we took another hard look out there and put up some stop signs and some crosswalks and some bars. So you'll see DPW's doing a lot of work around the city. They're also completing some of the design work in West Hyattsville, so that's ongoing. Okay, Black History Month, we hosted a great event. That was Shakira Luamar, who sponsored that with our community services. Lively discussion. We had panelists. We had a farmer, Samia Bingham, who was the owns the Flavors Culinary Hub, and Jasmine and Andrew Dill, who are founders of Liquid Intrusion Brewery. They talked a lot about the influence of Black food and drink on the population and on the Black community, on the community at large, actually. Okay, youth also had a poetry jam, very well attended, as you can see. Our youth participated. It was 8 weeks, and they, at the conclusion, they shared the poems that they have been writing with family and friends. So that was a creative idea that the youth really enjoyed. And the parent and child dance was held on the 22nd. 60 people attended. They had a really good time, and you could see some of the snapshots from some of the fun things that they did. And let's see, intergenerational trip. I just want to remind everyone that this is the young people along with our seniors. So what we try to do is put the seniors and young people together so they can learn from each other and just network a little bit and build relationships. So they went to the National Museum of African American History and Culture just last week. So they had a really wonderful time there. All right, and upcoming, we've got a financial literacy clinic. We already had one. It was well attended on February 25th. So there's another one coming up this week, and then March 12th, April 9th, and April 30th. Weekly offerings, we've got the free Zumba class. That's on Wednesdays from 4 to 5. And then Winter Creative Minds is still going on through March 11th. And again, through March 13th for the Spanish session. Committee meetings, Shade Tree Board meeting is on Wednesday the 5th, Environmental Committee meeting Tuesday the 11th, Police Public Safety Citizens Advisory Committee on Wednesday the 12th, and Youth Advisory Council on Thursday, March 13th. Some other upcoming events, remember the primary election, Prince George's County Executive is tomorrow. So that's Tuesday, March 4th from 7 to 8 p.m. The voting locations are published. Teen Center Prep Clinic, College Prep Clinic is going on. That'll be tomorrow from 5 to 6. I mentioned financial literacy already. Care Partner Support Group. That's been very well attended. Those that are caring for older adults or children, they tend to come together, and I will tell you, on occasion, we have leaned towards having to cancel it because we didn't have anyone to facilitate, and the group wants to come out and they facilitate it themselves, but they really need that opportunity to just come together. So really happy with what's happening with that group. And Seniors on the Go, they're going to the Silver Spring Mall on Thursday the 13th, and again, last day for candidate registration. That's coming up on March 14th. Finally, invasive removals from local parks on Friday the 15th. Volunteer tree care and tree maintenance talk also on Friday the 15th. And we canceled the Hyattsville Youth Mini Day Camp. And that's really just due to a change in the schedule at Prince George. We do want to wish Deputy Hal Metzler a very happy birthday on March 9th, and Councilmember Sam Dennis a happy birthday on March 31st. I believe that is my last slide, so I will stop sharing. Before I take questions, I know there were some questions about the police cars. So Chief is online, either here or DC Lanham will just briefly address the growth in the department and the need for additional police cars. And we too remain and have always remained very concerned about the cost of police cars. We do all we can to try to piggyback on with other cities and on other any other ways that we could potentially get the cars at the lowest possible cost. But the heavier cost is the outfitting of some of these. So Chief, if you would just talk briefly about what's going on with the cars and the growth in the department.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tracey. Good evening, Mayor and Council and citizens of Hyattsville, residents of Hyattsville. So we have a fleet manager who maintains a fluid fleet analysis and is constantly taking a look at our fleet, monitoring the mileage, condition, maintenance cost, best practices in terms of replacement schedules, among other things, which ultimately dictates our replacement schedule. And as you all know, we put in our, we forecast about a year out, sometimes actually about 18 months out, and we plan for our vehicle replacements and our capital improvement plan. And then we bring throughout the fiscal year, we bring forward when we feel that our vehicle has reached end of life and we anticipate ordering a new vehicle, we bring those forward as we are tonight with two. There's a couple of factors here at play. Number one, we just increased our staffing in the last within the last 6 months from 48 positions to 55 positions, and we are at 40, about to hit 46. I'm sorry, 48 the next couple weeks. With that being said, we have very limited pool vehicles available, and in the near future, when we hire officers, we won't have vehicles available for them. And as some of you know, that is obviously a retention and recruitment issue, because when new officers are being hired, and they find out one gets hired and there's not a vehicle for them, they're talking to the applicants. The police world is a small world, just like many other professions. They're talking to applicants, and applicants find out, oh, if you go to Hyattsville, they don't have cars for you. And everyone in law enforcement knows that when you order a police vehicle, it can take upwards of a year to get a vehicle delivered. In fact, there's one particular vehicle that we just got to our upfitter to get upfitting done that we ordered in January of 2022, and it just came in within the last 30 days to the upfitter from the factory. With that being said, right now we have 17 vehicles that are over 100,000 miles. We have 12 that are approaching 100,000 miles. And of those 17 that are over 100,000 miles, 15 of them are over 8 years old. I mentioned briefly the purchase to service time. When we order these vehicles, we have no idea how long it could take. It could take 7 or 8 months, or it could take 18 months. It just depends on the circumstances, supply chain issues. We've actually had situations where we've ordered vehicles and the vehicle order was canceled because they couldn't fulfill the order. And then we had to reorder the following fiscal year, and at a $5,000, $6,000 increase per vehicle. Next to our officers, our dispatchers, and our staff, our vehicles are our biggest asset. We can't show up to a resident's house. We can't respond to 911 calls. We can't get across town. And if we're putting multiple officers in the same vehicle, we're really not able to put as many eyes out on the street. We're not able to spread out over the geographic area of the city. These vehicles are very vital to our ability to provide emergency services to our city. Happy to answer any questions, Tracey or Mayor.
Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you, Chief Towers, for your brief discussion on that issue.
Yes, sir.
Colleagues, questions? Mr. Redmond.
Thank you, Mayor. My question was for the chief, just to maybe elaborate a little more for the public or anyone who's curious. One, are the vehicles being proposed tonight for purchase in the budget already? And two, can you talk a little more about the maintenance of the vehicles to date? My understanding is that there were some years where we did delay purchasing vehicles, and now we're trying to make up for that. And my understanding also is that the sedans, do they still make those? Can you talk a little more about that?
Sure. So of the vehicles we have in our fleet right now, I believe we have 20. I think the number off the top of my head is 21 sedans in our fleet, which they don't make anymore. They stopped making those in, I believe, 2016. So they're a big portion of our older vehicles, and they are in patrol. We need to get those replaced. These aren't just your average vehicle, that you're using to get to work back and forth. These are emergency response vehicles that have to be used, to respond to 911 calls. We don't want these vehicles speeding around the city or chasing after felony suspects with bad brakes or mechanical issues. They've got to be top notch, and our DPW does an excellent job at maintaining our vehicles. There are times where the vehicle maintenance gets bogged down because we have vehicles with more serious issues that take a little bit longer to get fixed. And when that happens, we really get behind. We end up having to have officers shuffle around. We have command staff give up their vehicles to specialty units and then drive different vehicles. I mean, it can really be a challenge because of where our fleet is. About 2 years ago, we were really in dire straits. It had been a couple of years since we'd gotten new cars, mainly because of COVID and some other factors and the supply chain issues. We ordered, I don't know if you all remember, I'm sure most of the people on the call remember, we ordered 12 cars at one time, and that was because there were no cars ordered during COVID. And so we did 2 fiscal years worth of vehicles to catch up. We really believe, based on our fleet analysis, that we need to be replacing 7 or 8 vehicles per year. We're not there because we ordered 12 to cover 2 years, and our goal was to replace 7 this year. We ordered 2 electric vehicles earlier this fiscal year. They were partly paid for by a grant, and that's part of a pilot program. We're going to test and evaluate those under the full rigors of patrol to see what the pros and cons are and make sure that works. If it works, we still have a long way to go in terms of building out the electrical infrastructure at our city facilities to ensure that the vehicles are fully charged and ready for deployment when needed. As part of this first fiscal year, these vehicles were budgeted in our capital improvement plan. We budgeted for 7. We purchased the 2 electric cars, and then these would be 2 more tonight. Our goal right now is to buy four vehicles the remainder of this fiscal year, with this being two of them. Our plan was to come back to council in a couple of council meetings, maybe the next, but if not, sometime by late April, to order the two additional vehicles that are part of that replacement schedule.
Is that good, Mr. Redmond?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Are you in a cave? It looks like you're in a cave or a log cabin or something.
My
Just
parents'
saying.
dining room. Yes.
Oh, no. Mr. Dennis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Chief, you were talking about patrol vehicles, but the motion language suggests that these are command vehicles that we're purchasing. Can you clarify? Because
Yes, sir.
one of the things that I do appreciate after a request was that you are including the upfitting estimates in these in the motion, and called out that for command vehicles the upfitting is less expensive. So
Yes, sir. My apologies for that as well. I in my head, I start referring to police vehicles as patrol vehicles as just common language. So these vehicles, all four of the vehicles we're planning on replacing this fiscal year are command vehicles. A couple of things. I mentioned that we were short on pool vehicles and vehicles for new officers. By replacing number one, our command vehicles need to be replaced by both age and mileage and maintenance cost. But by replacing our command vehicles, several of our command vehicles are going to be able to be pushed down. And for a minimal cost of just putting markings on the car, we'll be able to use some of those vehicles for pool vehicles. There's a couple of different things that are a couple of different operational needs right now that by replacing our command vehicles and pushing the older ones down into other places, it will be able to offset some other costs. The other thing that I think you're getting at, Councilmember Dennis, is that the upfitting for a command vehicle is much less than a patrol vehicle. A patrol vehicle has a transport system in the back for an arrestee. It has cameras in the dash facing forward, cameras in the rear for the prisoner transport area, much more lighting, radar equipment, computers, printers, scanners for scanning the barcode and driver's license, weapons, vaults. It's about $28,000 to $30,000 now to upfit a patrol car. These command vehicles are somewhere between $12,000 and $14,000 per car.
Is that good, Mr. Dennis?
thank you. Yes, it is.
Okay, Mr. Redmond, your hand is still up. You got another one?
I do. Not for the chief. Thank you, sir. But this is for Public Works. I'm just curious about where we are on signage. I admit I have been traveling for the last week and a half, so maybe they're up and I haven't seen them, but the signs on Wells and the traffic study, if you have any updates, please.
So thank you, Councilmember Redmond. The counters are out there currently. We want to have them up at least 2 to 3 weeks. We should have information, and Taylor should have that soon. The signs, I believe, are ordered, and they're working on a number of different signs. I'll have to double back with Mr. Buchholz to make sure they get in as soon as possible, but they are on our list of signs to be installed. Thanks for asking.
Okay. Colleagues, any other questions or comments? Mr. Dennis, you got another one?
I do. The DPW request got me going, and I wanted to ask about a request for crosswalk Queensberry and 43rd. I'd spoken with Mr. Metzler a while ago. It seems that weather was good enough to get the crosswalk by the middle school in, so I'm expecting weather should be comparably good enough.
Yep, it is, and it's on our list. There's a couple other painting that was kind of, we felt an emergency just because of the incident that occurred, and it was, I think, necessary to take action on that in the more immediate, but we'll make sure that that's done. Councilmember Dennis, it is on our list to get those crossbars and the intersection crossings in there as soon as possible. I'll make sure that, again, that I mention that to Mr. Buchholz, who is handling most of the painting and the signage.
And while I've got the floor, do we have any idea, or can I prod to for staff to engage with SHA or WSSC or whomever is responsible for, there was some work on Route 1 in front of kind of 5612, 13 or so, 5611, I don't know, something. In the WSSC, there's a like kind of heaved asphalt, and you can just watch as northbound cars in the right-hand lane approach it and then slam on their brakes.
Is that on alternate Baltimore?
No, it's on Baltimore Avenue.
I know exactly where it is. It's right up from UIA. Yes.
Right in front of the
We've-
apartments.
Yeah.
Not the Chipotle, but the next.
Yeah, I know right where it is, and we've called multiple times. We've called multiple times because there is huge holds on Baltimore Avenue that we've asked to be fixed as well. So yes, we will reiterate that to State Highway that people are losing their hubcaps, losing their tires, losing whatever, and those things.
WSSC did a wonderful job replacing the sidewalk, but
Yeah, not so much the street.
the street. I mean, you're
Yeah.
my priorities maybe, but not everyone else's. So I figured I'd bring it up.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Dennison. Thank you, Mr. Redley.